It was named as the place to eat by the New York Times. It's the Castle Street Cafe in Great Barrington. It's a hidden gem in the Berkshires. It features the freshest locally grown ingredients.
Joining us this morning to share a recipe off their menu is owner and chef Michael Ballon.
Great to be here.
It's good to see you.
Nice to see you.
So I see a delicious cut of meat. What are we going to be making today?
Well, it's the first day of spring,
Yes.
and I think people think that somehow suddenly they're going to go out to their backyard and start planting basil and tomatoes, but everybody in New England knows we're in for one more snowstorm.
Oh, you have to be. Yeah, there's one left. And
So the thing that really is seasonal for the end of March is local maple syrup, because this week in March is actually Massachusetts Maple Syrup Week. So it's one of my favorite ingredients. I'm lucky because Turner Farms is just a mile or two from my house. Every day I drive to work, I go past it, and they make this incredible maple syrup. And we also have a loin pork chop from North Plain Farm in Great Barrington, and that's a little different than, this is not your average pork chop. It's locally raised, it's organic, it's grass-fed, and I think people's awareness about how animal meat is raised and how animals are treated while they're alive has really changed a lot, and really, really proud to be serving this kind of meat. So the dish we're going to do today, I think, illustrates the point that the best things in life are simple. This is not a complicated dish, and in general, I try and encourage people to cook. I don't want to make a recipe or a dish which is so complicated that the average person at home is going to say, oh my God, I can't make that.
Exactly.
And you want to let the ingredients stand for themselves too. When you, like how people cook in the Berkshires, when you get those really good ingredients, you want to let them do the talk.
Absolutely. And one of the things I don't know whether you'll be able to see or not on this is that this is really lean pork, and one of the things that happens with sort of mass-produced industrial pork is that it really has a ton of fat. I mean, this is actually quite lean for a pork chop. So the other thing that's true I like to talk about is, you know, the days of people getting trichinosis from rare pork are long since gone.
All right, now you have your own cookbook, Michael, Castle Street Cafe Cookbook, and it doesn't just have great recipes, it also has some essays about life as a chef.
It does, and I'd like to share about that. I think people are interested in what it's like to be a chef. I think people are interested in what it's like to go out and eat at a restaurant. And I'm just going to throw this in the oven for 1 minute and make a glaze with the maple syrup.
Ooh,
oh, maple syrup glaze?
Sweet glaze.
How nice is that?
We're going to be talking about balancing acid and vinegar with something else, and it doesn't seem like we're making salad dressing, but mustard is very vinegary, and you can't make a glaze with just pure vinegar. You need to cut it with something else, and that's what the maple syrup is going to do. So we're going to make a glaze with equal parts whole grain mustard.
And are you going to use Dijon as well?
Both, yeah.
Wow.
And I like the grainy texture.
Yeah, I do too. I love that whole grain texture.
Oh, there's nothing better than biting into one of those.
I know, it's so good.
And then we're going to use equal parts maple syrup.
All right.
And this is a nice dark grade from Turner Farms in South Egremont.
Oh, nice. Local ingredients.
And it's Massachusetts Maple Week, so this is a perfect recipe to make.
And this is just, you know, a microcosm of what's actually available at the Castle Street Cafe.
It is. And Seth, I'm going to get a little teaspoon.
Oh, yeah.
You do the honors here.
You don't have to ask me twice. Here we go.
So good.
Oh, man. And once it gets on the pork, it's going to be tremendous.
And you know, whatever he throws his utensil, he loves it.
That's
It's true.
Telltale sign.
It's
well,
true.
we're going to finish up in a little bit. We'll get the pork up, and we're going to make a maple walnut tart, because why not keep going with maple syrup?
And I'll try that.
That's right.
Perfect. I'll eat the whole pork chop. You can have dessert.
Thank you, Mike. We'll be back with you.
Welcome back, everyone.
Now we're back with Chef Michael Ballon from Castle Street Cafe in Great Barrington. Earlier, we learned how to make a pork chop glazed in maple syrup, and it smells great. And look at it. Now it's finished.
Yes, we have a very nicely browned pork chop.
Nicely browned. We know the burner's nice and hot there.
And
we're putting on that glaze.
This is just the last minute that this goes on, because sugar, as we'll see in a minute more, tendencies to burn. You don't want to put that on too early in the stage. And the other thing you don't want to do is overcook the pork, because it's very easy to do, and this is just going to get nicely thickened and
And it's been a debate for years. These days, you can have pork a little more on the rare side.
Yes, I wouldn't want it rare, but there's certainly no need to cook pork to death.
Oh, that's quick. You just pretty much warm it up and it's... Oh, that smells. It's amazing. Dijon mustard and then the whole grain mustard with the maple syrup.
And,
oh, my goodness.
It's sweet with the maple syrup, but it's got that little mustard bite.
The zing.
The zing. That's what it is. It's a zing.
Michael, that looks amazing with the nice green, fresh asparagus. I don't know about you, but this is going to be like a spring meal.
So the asparagus is a little bit of spring. There's another thing I want to do with the maple syrup. We're going to make a maple walnut tart. That's actually quite easy to make. There's only a couple of ingredients. We're going to caramelize a little sugar first. And I brought along one of my favorite high-tech kitchen utensils.
A wooden spoon.
You know, people have food processors, cell phones with apps, all sorts of things on their kitchens, but you really can't beat a wooden spoon because it doesn't conduct heat, and it allows you to make caramel and without burning it. It's great for making risotto as well. If you don't have a nice heavy wooden spoon at home, they're not very expensive.
That's true, and they're great to have. Now you just put just sugar in there, right?
That's right.
And you put the burner, you're just gonna
just stir the sugar a little bit.
And that's just gonna melt right down?
Yes, it will.
Wow.
As long as our burner is hot.
You just keep on moving it around?
We have electric, and it's tricky sometimes, electric heat.
Now, while we're getting that going, Castle Street Cafe, you're in Great Barrington, you've got live jazz music as well as a wonderful menu.
We do. We're one of the only places that has live jazz every Friday and Saturday night. It's a kind of dying thing. We've got some terrific musicians from throughout the Northeast area, and it's, I think food and great music go together naturally, and it's always been a passion of mine. One of the other ingredients in this caramel mix is High Lawn Farm heavy cream, and what's nice about this place also is it's Jersey cows, which make incredible milk. And I'll show you something you haven't probably seen too often, is that, I don't know if you can see this on the camera here, but it's the cream really, cream really rises to the top here.
Oh, it does. Look at that. Is heavy cream. That's like whipped cream right at the top.
Almost. And this is a place that still delivers milk in glass bottles to your house, and it's the real deal without any...
See, that's the charm of the Berkshires. And then the best part is all the local restaurants, especially the Castle Street Cafe, you utilize all this stuff in your cooking. You're
Absolutely.
not ordering a bunch of stuff from a faraway company.
This is a dish which features both local maple syrup and local cream. And I don't know if this is going to
caramelize. So it's starting to smell like caramel.
Yes, on this.
So what is the, I know of course we're on live TV, so we don't always have a lot of time on our side, but this is going to brown and melt?
Yes, it will, and it'll turn completely liquid. Let's try this one.
Oh, so it'll just be like a syrup?
Yep.
Oh, now we're cooking with gas.
Now we're cooking with gas.
Now we're cooking.
Literally cooking
now
with
we're
gas.
working on the maple walnut tart, so there's going to be, of course, at some point, maple syrup involved.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
But this has to melt a little bit first, and we'll see.
Oh, there we go. It's getting there.
It actually will turn caramel colored.
It will.
It will.
Now, do you want it do you want to keep constantly moving it around?
Yeah,
is that something that you want to do? Yeah, we're seeing it. We're seeing it. Look at that.
Here we go.
There you go. So you just want to keep. You don't want it to burn, right?
Right.
You just want it to melt down. All right, so Michael, we're going to keep working on this. This is the first step of this maple walnut tart, is getting the sugar melted. We're going to check back in with you in just a bit.
Great.
So that we can see the finished product and see how we put it all together.
Very good.
Thank you so much, Michael Ballon from Castle Street Cafe.
We're back with Chef Michael Ballon from the Castle Street Cafe in Great Barrington. We've made a glazed pork chop, and now we're making dessert, and we're using maple syrup because it's maple syrup week.
Yes, it is. And we caramelized some sugar. It's getting that nice brown color.
And this was easy. You just take sugar, and it's easy enough.
That's it. I'm going to add the little bit of cream.
Now, this is the complex part. You have to do it all at once.
Well, not necessarily. You're just going to stir all this stuff up. And this is liquid when it's hot, but it's chilled when it's cold. And I bought some tart shells, which we can just stir this up real quick.
And tart shells are one of those things you can get in any supermarket.
Absolutely.
And basically we're just turning this onto this.
you got?
Now, for people who missed it earlier, because this was delicious, tell us about the glazed pork that you did.
Okay, it's equal parts Dijon and Dijon and whole grain mustard with equal part maple syrup, and it's a perfect glaze. It's really simple to make.
Well, and it's got that sweet and it's got the zing that you love in mustard.
So when they're chilled, they look like this. I brought some Soko vanilla ice cream.
This is local ice cream too.
It's made right around the corner for me. And chefs kind of like to use squeeze bottles to make dessert.
It makes life a whole lot easier.
And then you just give it a little drizzle of maple syrup.
Oh man. And this is just, you know, representative of just some of the things that are available at the Castle Street Cafe.
And the recipe's in the cookbook as well.
No way. And you have another cookbook coming, and that's kind of like the...
By this summer, we will.
This summer, and that's what it's like to be a chef. You know, the Anthony Bourdain style, all that, like, the nitty-gritty stories of the kitchen.
Anthony Bourdain without quite as much of the sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Good, I like that. It's fine by me. This is fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, and I learned a lot, too. If you want to make a reservation, just give the Castle Street Cafe a call, 413-528-5244, or visit castlestreetcafe.com for more information.